How to sumo deadlift. For a typical sumo deadlift, you want to be really patient off the floor and get into a hip position which you can push from but also maintain until the bar rises from the floor. That will mean the hips stay in this position until the bar leaves the ground, instead of the hips rising and then the bar leaves the ground. Very important, and also goes for the squat. And for keeping your back tight, which will prevent you from rounding up like a cat, I think the main factor is just that you brace hard. If you use a belt, then actually use it and brace into the belt. If you don't want to use a belt, that's completely fine, but it will make it easier to get a more tight core. Then there is the upper back tightness. In almost all cases, you want to just be as tight as you can. I have experimented with not being as tight as I can, and I could lift a little more like that, but long term I still think I can lift more with my upper back being really tight. So I'm still practicing that, as you can see here. The main factor for actually increasing your deadlift strength, I think, is to know what your weak point is and know how to work specifically on that. For me, it is my upper back tightness that I lose, and therefore the lockout becomes hard. So I'm working on that by doing sets like this, where I do the opposite, where I keep the upper back tightness and focus on that because it's my weakest link. And you can do the same. It might not be the same weak point you have, but if you're struggling to get it off the floor all the time, then maybe do some deficit deadlifts or something to work on that. And if you're struggling on lockout, then figure out why you're doing that and then figure out what will work to not make the lockout a problem.